Hello there, and welcome to UK Diesel and Electric Railway Modelling. And this is a bit of a special day for me. Not only is it my birthday, but I'm giving gifts away because today is my is to celebrate. I'm doing a giveaway to celebrate reaching 500 subscribers, and I've got an echo coming because I forgot to turn off my audio output. There it is. Hello there, and welcome to... and then I start talking to myself. Anyway, so I have 4 prizes to give away, and I need to just check my email, because there may be another person who has sent me an entry. So let's have a look and see if I have. So what's this doing now? Thank you very much. 21 again. I could double it and still wouldn't be anywhere near. Okay, so let's have a look. So I've got any more entries? At the moment it stands at, was it 18 or 19? Oh, I've got one more. Yep, okay. So I've got one more entry that I can add. So let me move that there. And let me put my glasses on so I can see better. For a second I thought I might not have... I've been moving stuff around, so I was scared for a second that I didn't have it in the right page. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 entries. That makes it a smidge under 1 in 5 chance of you winning, if you've entered, of course. So... So let's have a look. So I have a little thing that I've bookmarked, and it's something so you can do a random draw, which is quite useful. Okay. Oh, and put one name in, so I can put a bunch of names in there, and remove name from list after draw. Yep. Okay. So let me share. Let me get that smudge right out of the middle of one of my eyes. Me being sloppy with my fingers again. Hope everyone's excited. So I've been hard at work today because I've been trying to get this Class 73 finished. It's almost finished. I've got a glitch with the lighting, although it works. For some reason, when I put a DCC chip in it to test it, I could get the loco to move, but the lights didn't come on. I have a nasty feeling that I may have put the LEDs backwards. I did use a book to do it, and I've been, you know, keeping the polarities right, but that does give a hint that maybe I've got it the wrong way around. So what I'm going to get is a surface mount LED. I'll put it across the bridge where one of the other LEDs is, and if that lights up, that'll give me my answer. I've done that once before. I once had the so I got a Javelin, and I made circuit boards for it, And you know what I would do when I do LEDs, I do them in pairs. So effectively, it's like if you imagine 2 wires on the outside, and between each section, I'll have 1 and 2, and then a single LED resistor. So it'll be resistor, LED, LED, back to the common return. So when I make circuit boards, what I'll do is I've got a transformer with an LED on it, and I will just, you know, do it to the drawing, and then touch the 2 parts to check each part works as I work my way through it. So I went through 6 boards that I was building and had them installed, and you know, had it all sort of, it's like, okay, that's all working great. And then when I tested it for that last time, when it was all installed, I realised that there was an ever so slight flicker to it. And when I reached to check to pull the transformer out, I realised it was an AC transformer, not a DC one. Now, if that doesn't make any sense to you, so with DC it's direct current, so it goes straight through, you know, it goes like that. With AC, it alternates. So it is basically positive, negative, negative, positive, and it just flickers like that. So when I got a DC transformer and tested it, I discovered that half of the LEDs weren't working. So I ended up having to take the boards back out and redo them all again. So it's like, what a pain. Okay, so let's get on with it. So I have my center screen, and so got this. So this is the list of names. So we've got David Jones, St Michael's Hill, Alex Riley, Dan Cooper, Copperhill Junction, Anita Jones, Dave Tinsley, Mike, Gary Gart's Harry Junction, Jason Barnabas Junction, Jim Goulding, Kaz Jones, Wayne Crowley, Scott Malcolm, Chris Lowe, Mike Hill, Gary Robertson, Carl Land, Neil Hall, and David King. David King, who just squeezed it in. So, first things first, I've got to tell you the answer. So let me... So, there were 2 questions with... Transfer over. So, there were 4 answers for 2 questions. Let me just take a drink of wine. It's not too bad, that. A little bit harder than, you know, a bit stronger than I might normally have. Anyway, so yeah. So the answers. So the first question was, BRCW Type 2 describes which 2 TOPS classes of locomotives? And the answer to that is Class 26 and Class 27. I had someone who answered 25. That wasn't correct. And the second question was English Electric Type 2. English Electric Type 4 describes which 2 classes? And the answer to that is Class 40 and Class 50. So there's your answers. So the people who got those answers right, and there were, there was only a couple of people who didn't get it right, so sadly they couldn't get in the entry. I did email back to say you didn't quite get it right, to give them a second chance. One person did reply back, Jason. So yeah. Okay, so let's get on with it. Okay, so the first prize, the first of the 4 prizes, I'll do them in, fourth. Let's go fourth. So I'm going to itch right there. Excuse me, I'll move my hair a little bit. Oh dear. Okay, so The fourth prize is this Cambrian Dogfish. It's a nice wagon. You need a set of wheels and a set of couplings, but you know it goes together pretty well. Another suggestion when you build it is paint this before you glue it on the top part. It'll make your life a lot easier. It's hard to get a brush in the deep parts, you know. So yeah, do that bit first. That's my suggestion. Anyway, so here we go. So let's change it over. So let's hit the button. Everybody ready? Here we go. So, ooh, there you go. Congratulations to Jim Golding. Send me an email. It's on the other video. You've already sent me an email anyway, but this is just to confirm that you're paying attention. So, yep, congratulations to Jim Golding. You have won this Cambrian Dogfish. So, that's number one. Number two, excuse me, Mike. This is making my outfit is making me making my chair squeak a bit. Let me take another drink. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested, one of the ways I've decided to celebrate my birthday was to buy a bottle of wine, and I'm not going to drink all of it today. And I also bought myself some flowers yesterday. So yeah, these are nice. They don't really smell of anything, but they are sweet. I usually buy them once a month, but you know, I sort of increase my chances this time. Anyway, so prize number two is this. So third prize is this Class 50 Haynes book. It's a good little book. You know, I got it in the summer, and it has all sorts of facts and, you know, statistics, a little bit of detail work, how they operated, all that kind of stuff. So, yep. So this is the third prize. So let's switch screens again. And let's go again. So, are you ready? Pick another name and start. And St Michael's Hill wins this Class 50 book. So, congratulations for winning this. Like I say, it's a nice little book. So, that's prize number 3. Third prize. So, the second... Oh, sorry. Yep. So, the second prize is this, and it probably looks backwards. Yes, it does look backwards. Let me just swap that around. There we go. So this so the second prize is this, and to be honest, I actually think this is better than the first prize. It's a fantastic book. You can still get it at W.H. Smith's if you fancy getting one, but it's got the formations of how things operated, how they worked. You know, I mean, actually, there's one. There's one that's somewhat appropriate because this model has just come out. But I could have sworn in that call one. Oh, that's network call. That's probably why. But yeah, like I say, all sorts of bits and bobs in here. What trains ran where? I'm going up in Scotland. Some Interfrigo vans. So, yep, all sorts of different stuff in here. Like I say, well worth buying. So let's press that button and see who's going to win. So, are you ready for the next one? So, here we go, and go. And Carl Land has won this wonderful book, bookazine, I suppose. It's, you know, it's quite thick. So, congratulations, Carl Land, for winning this. And depending on what my bank balance says after buying a couple of things, I bought a bit of makeup as well yesterday. Depends on how quick you'll get it. If not, it'll be 2 weeks from about today. I'll be posting it, or maybe yesterday. So yep. So that's that one. And the final prize is this this Class 73 here. Now I've still got to stick the last couple of decals on. The warning flashes are somewhere, but I've numbered it as 73105. So it just needs some BR arrows and depot plaques to finish off, and it'll be perfect. I've gone and given it some proper handrails. So they're not the sort of mouldy lines that the Lima model came with. I still need to put the pipe work on the end for the multiple working equipment, but that's just needs plugging in. As I said, I've had a bit of an electrical problem with it, and I think the LEDs might be in the wrong way round. So once I've fully tested it, I will get it done. But I don't know if you can quite see, but you can see through the roof grill, and so there's the roof fan. You can see that underneath. So, sorry. Let's change the angle. There you go. So I've given it a full overhaul. The gears have been given a nice clean up. Stripped it down. You know, sorted it all out. So yeah, and inside, I mean, I'll just pop the lid off, and you can see that I've fitted lights inside, and I built a circuit board for it, all separately wired, so it's really easy to use. So who would like to win one of these? You know, it might be an old Lima model, but I've given it some extra pickups, you know, and with a fair DCC decoder in it. This won't have a decoder in it. There's a decoder in it at the moment, so I can test it, but this won't have a DCT decoder in it. And there's on the circuit board, I've got all the colours marked. So there's a purple square in the middle of the circuit board. All you'll need to do is solder on the purple wire for a 4-function decoder. And the way that it'll work is that your first function will be the number 1 end, because the number 1 is where the fan is. So the number 1 headlights will go on in the direction of travel with the cheapy Hornby decoder, the 8429. So yeah, so when you press 1 on your handset, or however you have your function set, it will be, the headlight will be on, so it will be the headlight and white marker lights in there. And then if you press 2, then the headlight, it will change. You know, sorry, you don't press more expensive ones if they're separate functions. The Hornby 8429 decoder works that it's on in the direction of travel. And then if you press 3 and 4, then the tail lights go on in, you know, in one end or the other end. So third function will be the number 1 end. Fourth function, which is the floating purple wire, that will be number 4. So on my lens controller, it works slightly differently. So I basically press 0, and that turns the lights on, and you just change direction. It'll just change according to which direction it goes. And then I can just press 1 for the number 1 end tail lights, and 2 for the number 2 tail lights, and you can have them both on at the same time. Theoretically, I mean, if you turn the normal lights off. So, and that's what I like about it, because one of the things that kind of annoys me about so many models these days is that underneath you've got a switch so you can turn the tail lights off. Well, what happens if you're doing, a train that sort of, couples up to some coaches, and then you can't? The only way you can turn the lights off is to lift it up, change the switch, turn it back on. I can't stand that. So the way I've done my circuit board is so that all you have to do is just bring your train in, change direction, turn your tail lights off, and that's it. So, yeah, easy to do. So, let's do the prize draw. So, let's switch screens, and let's do it. So, this is the last one. So, 1, 2, 3, and go. Alex Riley. Congratulations, Alex, on winning this. So, yep. So that's so congratulations, everybody, for entering. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, of course. If you didn't watch, then, But, like I say, Alex has won the main prize. And I hope it's something that's useful for him. There'll be if he doesn't use DCC, then you just plug in the blank plug, which I will have in with it, and it'll just operate anyone. So, yeah, Exeter Central, you turned up late and you missed it all. So, yeah, so that's it. Draw's all done. Like I say, I've made 500 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you, the people who watch, the people who pay attention. I get videos where I get more than 500 views. It's 535 right now. And one of the reasons why I managed to pop over was when Cottesmore sort of publicised it a bit somewhere, and next thing you know, there it was. So it's like, yay, made it. So I don't know how long it's going to be before I get the next one. Do a giveaway again. I might make it 1,500. I think that's a reasonable one. 1,000. Once you get noticed, it's very easy to go very quick, and I don't want to, have them too often. Maybe once a year or something. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just have once a year I'll do a giveaway. It might only be one prize, but this one I thought, I'll make it a big one. So yes, thank you for joining the live stream. Congratulations to the people who won. Commiserations for those who didn't. You answered the question, and it's just a random look of the draw. And yeah, so so I think that's it, really. A part of me wants to sit here and chat for an hour, but I haven't really got anything prepared. So yeah, so I think I'll finish. And I only just put my makeup on as well. So I put all my makeup on just for this. I don't mind. I like to look at myself in the mirror like this because it tells me who I am. Which sounds like a weird thing, but that's gender dysphoria for you. Can I confirm the correct coaches you would need to make the new APT7 car into a 14? I don't actually know the answer to that. It's before my time. However, I might have a book somewhere. I've got a 1980, like one of these kind of things. So I've got one of these from about 1980, and that's got some intercity formations in there. It may have the APT formation in there. I can give you actually, while I think about it. So I've got my model list, and on my model list, let me just switch to the center screen. So here's my model list, and my model list has things I would like. So that's mainly, what I would like eventually. And the things that are blue are things that I've got. Now, they may not be finished. Usually the green things indicate something that's actually finished as a project. But so I've got lots of things that need doing. The ones that are red are things that I'm expecting to get. So you can see all these 33s, and one of these days I'm going to get stuck into doing that class 33 work. But anyway, so scrolling down, so I go through locos, through... by the way, the reason why this giveaway, the class 73 giveaway happened, is because I've got these models, the ones that are blue here, these are ones that I've got, and these are the new Dapol ones. So actually the colour of that is a weird one. Let me just change that to the proper colour. So blue ones are things that I've got that I'm going to be replacing. So I still hadn't... Yeah, so 23 is the only one that I've got so far of the new Bachmann ones. But these are ones that I've got old models of. So this is the kind of thing that could end up in the giveaway next time. I'll give away some of my old things that I don't need, but actually don't look too bad when you've modified them a bit. Anyway, so through my coaches. So those are all my coaches. You can see I've got a lot of coaches. Lots and lots of parcel coaches there. And then it goes to departmental stuff. So now we've got units. So I've got DMUs and EMUs. So one of the trains that I've got, I think, I sworn it was there. Huh. Okay, I thought I'd written it down, but I obviously haven't. So this Pendolino, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, I don't know. Eurostar, I've got some of the parts to do it, but yeah, so I don't seem to have it. I thought I did. So okay, I'll have to do some looking up. So yeah, so I'm afraid I can't answer that at this point in time. Yeah, well, often for a long train they would have had 2 power cars, so definitely go for a second power car. So the 7 and a second power car, that should do you just fine. The problem is I don't really know how they ran that much. Oh, wait a minute. I may have a book that can tell me. Give me a second. Let's see. Because I've got the Colin J. Marsden Electrics book, which I was actually a bit disappointed with, actually. Is it on here or is it on the other bookshelf? No, it's not there, so it must be down here. Okay, that's that one. That's my other Class 50 book, because I bought one for myself. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet. Track book. DMU one. Where's the electrics one gone? Well, that's annoying because I don't know what I've done with it. Was that it? No? Let's look on barriers. I'm moving stuff about. I may not have put it in there. Fighter book. Ah, is that it? No. Oh, I don't seem to be able to find it. Oh, wait a minute. I know a book I have got that may have it. Okay. I've got the British Royal Fleet Survey book, High Speed Trains, and it's definitely in there. Definitely APT stuff in there. So it's got the Blue Pullman first, then it's got the gas turbine APT, then it's got the Class 252, then the High Speed production HST Productions. And at the back it's got the APT-P. So let's see if it gives a suggestion. I mean, nice thing is it gives you the drawings, which is quite nifty. No. Okay. The only thing I can think of immediately is there a video of an APT somewhere, and that'll probably give a hint of how long the formation will be. So yeah, what would I like to see from Bachmann next month? I'd like to see a 104 DMU announced, so that should arrive somewhere about 2025. What I would really like to see is some more wagons. When was the last time you remember a diesel electric wagon being produced? A lot of the time they just bring out old ones in different colour schemes. So it would be nice to see a new wagon announced. One of the wagons that seems to have been completely forgotten about was the conical end TTA tank, which was for the sort of bitumen, that kind of material. That's never appeared. So it would be nice to see one of the other version of the General Manager's Saloon vehicles. It would be nice to see some EMUs, some overhead electric EMUs. A Class 319 would do me just nicely. And I think that's where the biggest things are. For people who do the modern era stuff, things of today, I'd like to see a 175 or 185. 175 or 180. I think that would be nice to be seen. It would be nice if, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, it would be nice to see a 377, 375, 379, 387, those kinds of units. I think those would be really good. Like I say, especially if you're in the southern region. I mean, if you're in the southern region, there's nothing that you can really do, because all there is that I can think of is the 450. And how many of those can you have? Well, you might be able to have a bunch of them, but you go somewhere like Clapham Junction, and you'll get loads and loads of 377s, 387s as well. You'll also get 455s. Now, that's an example of something I think that could be done. A 317 stroke 455 using the class 152 body. That's and of course, if they're going to do it, now's the time to do the research on it, because what are they called? Is it Southwestern they're called now? The artist formerly known as Southwest Trains. They've announced that they're going to be getting rid of the 455s and 456s from their fleet, so only Southern will have them. So yeah, it's kind of weird, because when I get my Rail Express magazine, I find myself feeling depressed, because I've been seeing the 313s. They've all gone now. They've all been withdrawn, if not already scrapped. I've been watching Class 314s being taken out of service. And there's other things that are going to scrap as well. So, effectively stuff that was new when I was, first starting in model railway stuff, or just looking at the real thing, they're now starting to be withdrawn. How long is it going to be before things like the 456s and the 319s and 323s? How long before those start going? Yes, Marcellus, I would like to see a Wessex Electric. I think that would be another good one. And the amusing thing about it is that those are actually the electrical system under those. They're just being changed now, but the electrical system for the 442s are actually reused from the 4 reps. So they used the electrical system from 1967. It was. Police car going by. I live in Manchester. What can I tell you? Anyway, so yeah, what happened was with the 442s, they want if you don't know what the Weymouth service used to be like, what they would have is, it was electrified as far as Bournemouth in 1967, 68, which is the same time the 60s came out. Class 50s came out. So what would happen is, you would have a 12-car train, and you'd have the 4 reps, which were 3,000 horsepower units, and they would push or pull to 1 or 2 class 438s, which were the RTC, the 4TCs. And then when it got to Bournemouth, it wasn't electrified beyond there to Weymouth, so they would have class 33 ones, which they retrofitted. They fitted with pipe work, so they could work electric multiple units, and then they would haul them down to Weymouth. And when they got to Weymouth, they would push the train back up to Bournemouth, where there would be a rep waiting for them, and then they'd couple up, the 33 would go off and sit in the carriage sidings, and then the rep would take it off to London. And that's the way the system used to work. That would be a great thing to model. Imagine a roundy exhibition layout, or even just a home layout, where you've got Fiddly Yard, and it goes around, you just got Bournemouth Station, because you basically got tunnels on either side. And so what would happen is that your scenic part would have trains coupling and uncoupling. That'd be fun. Imagine KD couplers with the uncoupling magnet mechanism, and then you could couple it up, let it go, and then it could operate in the different types of trains. The only thing that hasn't existed so far are the reps, but the reps aren't a lot different than the 4TC. So you could take a 4TC, stick a motor in it, and just make, do some underframe parts, and that could be a really nice looking layout, I think. But so what happened with the 1967 equipment? It still had plenty of life in it. I mean, just to give you an idea of this, so if I put it on the bottom there. Oh. Where are they? Did I put them up here? Just a second. I need to start putting things away a bit more better. Oh, they fell off the edge, that's why. Okay. So, if I need to buy the latest combo, because the last ones I've got are 2015, and there's so many new things that have come out. But if I show you actually, before I do that, let me finish off Marcellus's question, or the expounding that I've done into his question. Always, yes, it'd be good to see 442 done. So what happened was, when they finished with, when they decided to electrify down, they decided all the way to Weymouth. They decided to get some new trains which were based on Mark III coaches, with new driving ends, streamlined ones to do 100 miles an hour, which was the fastest anybody did on the southern region. And then, but the electrical equipment underneath was straight off the 4Reps. It was just refurbished and stuck back on, because unlike diesels, you take the HSTs, they did 1.5 million miles a year on the long distance stuff. So you can imagine they wear out eventually, and one of the reasons for replacing them with the MTU units, or the VP185s, was because the old Paxman Valenta had kind of worn out. And electric trains are much better than diesels. They've got higher tractive effort, and they've got as long as they've got the wires, they've got a full amount of voltage all the time, so they've got better acceleration. Now, if you think under a Class 150, yeah, you can take the engine apart and clean it all out, and you change the cylinders, and change other bits and bobs. But largely, it's a mechanical device, whereas electric units, there aren't any moving parts really, because it's just electrical motors. Obviously, the moving parts are the wheels and the bearings, but everything else, if you look, the difference is largely if you look at if you look at a pancake motor, so you've got the ring of magnet, and then you've got the 3 or 5 pole motor in the middle. It's not actually touching, it just uses magnetic field and makes it move. But just to give you an idea about let's have a look. So let me show you the 456s. The 456s. So that's 455. So 456, and so they've got GEC 507s, which are actually English Electric ones. So what was I supposed to say? So GEC 507s, and it's actually just the English Electric 507. So if we just take this 1994 book, and I go to the 455, so much easier to find now because of course, just they're the ones at the back. So 456 SIGs, EE507s, which is just English Electric. In fact, General Electric Company bought English Electric, but they're English Electric 507 motors. So this is 2015 book. They're still in service today. But those English Electric 507s. So if I sort of gonna have to move close to the screen. So excuse my fingernails. I haven't done my nails for a few days, but there you go. You can see two EE507 motors. Okay. Right. Let me sort out the autofocus. Right. Okay. Right. There we go. So you can see two EE507 motors, and the GEC 507, same thing. Okay, now let me go back a couple of years and go to 473. Oh, by the way, and those were made in 1990, I think it was. So if I go back to what was it, 4732? Because it was still in service then. So that's the sub. So it was a green painted. Okay, so I'm actually just going to show you okay, so you've seen Bachmann's 4SEP. So those date back from, what was it? 1958, 1956, 1960, 61. Because they went a big rebuilds thing. So you're talking 50s into the 60s. Okay? So if we look at those, there we have English Electric 507s. But if we go to 4732, which was a pretty much preserved, it's the Green 4 sub. So the Green 4 sub dates to 1948, and that uses English Electric 507s. And there are units that go back to the first generation of of Southern Region electric trains, all using those English Electric 507s. Let me turn my autofocus back on. So yeah, like I say, all very, all using the same motors. I wonder what 73s used or use. Oh, and speaking about 73s, a couple of days ago I did a video talking about Hornby stuff. English Electric 548, so probably a similar thing but slightly different. Anyway, I did a video about the Hornby stuff that was coming out. One of the things I'd noticed since was they've got a Lima 73 with a new motor in it. That's one of the new 7s, but of course the 7s have a lot of modifications to them. So, it's like, why don't you just limit it to ones that, carried the livery, but weren't massively converted? I think that's something I would like to see. I think it would be nice if Dapol could bring out a new body and chassis part to be able to have those. And another thing that I would like to see Dapol do is to put the flash guards on, because Class 73s had these flash guard things around the bogies under the axles, sort of like almost like a flat square U-shaped thing. Let's see. Let me show you what I mean. So there you go, these things. You see these grey painted boxes, and this one around here. And what happened was, you'd grease up the bogie, but because of the big bright flashes where the shoes pick up, arc due to changing or little, bumps or whatever, you would end up with these flashes, and you were getting bogie fires because it was catching the grease and oil that was on the bogie, and that was causing a bit of a problem, as you can imagine. So they built these flash guards, and I think they discovered a bit of a problem that underneath the axle boxes, so they ended up trimming the middle part away later on. You can see, there you go, there's a part of it on one side and part on the other side, but not all the way across. Let's see if I can got a better picture somewhere. There you go. So this one has had the outer pieces removed as well, but it's there next to the shoe, next to where the pickup shoes are. So yeah, it would be nice to see, even if they're separate parts that you can glue on or something, that would be nice. Or an etched part. But yeah. Oops, too far. But when we compare the new modifications on them, you can see, let's have a look. So you've got the roof has all changed because you've got a big exhaust on there. That's changed. All this has changed. I mean, those two parts are the same, except for just a different design. That's the same. The stuff between the bogies is different. The bogies are the same, so and like they've got new headlights on and other bits. But oh, okay. Well, there's your normal 73. I don't know why I've got it in the wrong place, but yeah, let's sort of flick between the two so you can see how this side here is the same side as that. So you can see it's got that window there, and it's got a new vent there. This window has been turned into a new vent, and the bottom, bottom radiator, that's gone. The fuel tank's the same, but the bits either side of it are different. And on the roof, wrong way. On the roof, you can see it's got two panels, fiberglass panels. That's so light can get in, so maintenance guys can, be able to see something without having to take the lid off. So the bodies, you can see the roof grills there. Those have changed. They've now got these grills on the top here, a new big exhaust on there, and a grill in the roof. So, like I say, so much has changed. But, so, yeah, the thing that I would like to see is a 175 180. I'd like to see one of those for modern image modelers. I think they've got enough colour schemes to justify it now. and the only difference between them, is basically the cabs and the gearing. So if Hornby produced it, so you've got a centre car, and an end car, a driving vehicle, because those are the only vehicles you need. All you need is a centre car with 2 corridor ends, and a driving car with no cab, and the back part of the body, and the corridor end and the roof, and then you just have a plastic, a different cab. So you just have 2 cabs, and you just glue them on. That would be an easy way to do it. As I said, the only real difference... Oh, that's quite dark, that one. The only real difference is, the gearing. And that's because the 180s are designed for 125 mile an hour operation, and the 175s are 100. I think it might be 90, but I think it's 100. 170, 175, 100 mile an hour use. So, yeah, I think it'd be nice to see one of those. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I say, the thing about it is that the more time goes on, when it was British Rail, there never seemed to be a change. It never seemed to stop evolving. There was always new colour schemes, and then because you had the different business sectors. I mean, for example, at one time, in fact, I'll show you because it's in a book that I've got. I don't think it's that book. I think it's the other one. Yeah. So, in what year was this? 1990? Was it 89? I think this was. This was from 1990, but what happened in 89? So what happened was they had a little thing with oh gosh, I'm looking at the wrong side now. So with Railwatch, it was a publicity campaign with BR, and they came out with 4 colour schemes. And so what you had was, express stuff would be intercity, would be an intercity livery. The rail freight locos were in the subsector rail freight livery. Mainline was for some express stroke general usage stuff. So these could be used on parcel trains or weekend work, or or intercity trains. Weekend working intercity trains, but would be operated by parcels. And then there was BR General, which was basically it was so unpopular that they stuck a yellow stripe on it, and that's what Civil Engineers livery came out as. So, that was the plan. It may showing off 4 different liveries to the BBC Railwatch programme. Cameras at Bounds Green Depot on the 27th of February. Was Intercity 91003, Petroleum Subsector 477, number 37893, General User Mainline Class 474, 47625, and General Departmental Sector 314412. And like I say, the idea was they would just have 4 different liveries on locos. And then what happened was, a year later, in fact, this during 1990, they came up with Parcels Red livery, which was like res but without the blue bits on it and the sort of boxy things on the end. So this livery on the 47 here. So, which I think is one of my favourite liveries. And then later on, they came out with the Res livery, and I was there when it came out. In fact, I saw one several months earlier during the summer at Derby. So it was the 3rd of October, I believe it was, that Res livery was unveiled in 1991. In fact, it's in here. 12th of October, sorry, 13th of October is when I saw it. So that was it. Ready for the open day the day after at Crew Diesel, and all they did really was, you know, have the sort of boxy thing with the blue triangle, blue rectangles on the end. So, this is before the days of the internet where information could get out quickly, and so it's like, you know, so they trialled them on a couple of locos, and then kind of hid them away. And so I was at I don't know, Richard. I don't know about the 45s. I mean, putting it back to next year might make it this year. I don't know. But anyway, so what happened was it was about August or September maybe, but I went down to Derby, and I think I'd come in the Utoxeter line from Stoke-on-Trent, and you know, as I came in the station, I saw this these big blue rectangles on the side of a Parcels Red 47, and I thought to myself, oh, there must be a weird nameplate thing that they're doing. They're, you know, having like 4 nameplates. That's going to be interesting to see what that comes out like. I didn't hear anything about it at all. When I got to the station, looked over, there was a 47 enlarged logo there, but it wasn't, you know, anything special. And basically, what I'd seen was one of the test examples. And it's like, oh. So when it came out, it's like, that's what it is. So it was the it was the open day at Crew Diesel, and it was 47594, 47597, and 47625, plus 633, and 90 020. And annoyingly, 90020 was indoors, which was frustrating. But I was at that open day. It was a really good open day. That got to actually look inside. I think I got about half a dozen, maybe 8 new locos that I'd never seen before. 47492, I remember that being one of them. The 58 that was in there. And I wonder if it's in here. No, it's in the previous one then. 91. So one of the vehicles that was there. So this vehicle here at the top. So this is one of the new vehicles with roller floors for BAA containers traffic. So the idea was that you could get stuff air freight going to Heathrow, and rather than take the boxes up, take them out of empty the boxes, the cargo containers, because after the Lockerbie bombing, they put these containers for everything, so that if anything happened, then it would be contained. That was the idea. And so it just made it easy to just slide it in into a cargo hold, and they were sort of shaped almost like a skip, with an angled end, so that they could slide and they would fit inside the fuselage of the plane in the cargo hold section. And so the idea behind those vehicles is that you could get 3 or maybe 4, I don't know exactly, I would estimate 3, and you'd just be able to slide them in on a roller floor, lifting vehicle, and just slide them into those vehicles and slide them down the vehicle. But it never really took off, and so they ended up being used for other things later. But and then the PCVs came along as well. So and they were among the first 6 ones, and there is one. I think that's the other one at the open day, because they had both vehicles there. In fact, I have some pictures of Crew Diesel, and there are open day pictures in it. So that was it being named. That was the day before the open day. This wasn't the open day itself, and it was pushed back in. So it was indoors and had this wall in the way, so you couldn't really get very good photos. But so there you go. You see, it was indoors. Oh, it wasn't. It was just a bar that was there. But I don't think I'd seen 47572 either. And that was the sorter, which was there was like a staff, like, hey, we're going to name a loco. What shall we name it? It was like a staff competition. And something else to consider when doing your modelling is look at the fashions. So back in the early 90s, shell suits were really popular, especially in Liverpool. That hasn't changed, strangely. But shell suits were really popular, and sort of jackets like this one and this one, with these bright sort of contrasting colours. Never really went for shell suits myself. Shell suit bottoms, they were good for keeping the cold out when you were going, doing an overnight at Toton or something. But and I was really lucky because I went down the day before the open day to see stuff arriving, and then I went to the open day itself, and I think it was like £3 to get in, but a pair of 20s from Wigan. There's 87101. This is there's one of those roller floored. What's this? 56 from Toton. Actually, was probably a 56 out of. There used to be an open cast mine near Stoke, just north of Stoke, and they used to operate there. but that was from, well, it actually says Crewe Heritage Centre. 31413, which is one of the locos that can be done with the Dutch liveried one. But there's another res liveried Gov there. 47492. Was that 438? I had a sit up in that. That one had just been preserved. Because it was one of the ones that operated out of Birkenhead Docks. Crewe Heritage Centre 25. Radcliffe Power Station, I think that was new for me that day. Again, shell suit jacket, or, well, jacket with, you know, bits hanging off. Yeah, they had displays with the crane. But there you go. There's an example. There's a roller shutter, blind, you know, door fitted one. And the train that first introduced res livery was done at St Pancras, and it was 47594 plus those two oh, I forgot what they're called now. They've got a name. Airline BGs. So the airline BGs at top at each end, and between were four Govs, refurbished Govs. But yeah, two Deltics there. And again, look at the bag. You know, if you've got train spotters, if you're modelling the early 90s in Intercity Network South East, things of that nature, are you going to get a guy in a suit standing at the end of the platform? But what did people carry around? They'd carry one of those bags over their shoulder. So that's the kind of stuff that's, you know, worth looking at. I mean, you always get people with the old stripy woolly jumper, you know, but lots of people wearing jeans. Like I say, brightly coloured bags. And the interesting thing is, somewhere around here could have been me. You know, if we look closely enough, maybe I'm there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you think about it, that young lad there is probably, what, 35, 30 by now? Let's say he's about, let's just estimate 10. Let's just round it off. You know, this was 1991. So 91, 2001, 2011, 2021. Next year it'll be 30 years. So if he's 10, he'll be 41. Are we 39 now? No, it'll be 29 now. 29 now. 39. Yeah, 39. I don't know why my brain isn't working properly. But, yeah. Now, there you go. 26001. New for me that day. I actually sat in it for a while. I had a rest in it. But like I say, look at that. Full shell suit. With a pink bag. That's the lady, I'm sure. So that's 410. 95410. and both of them are different. One of them has got a painted over window, another one's got a plated over window. But 50008 and 15, they'd only been painted the year before, or was it early that year? And so they used to pop around. I think I saw them at about 2 or 3 open days that year. So, yeah, it was a good day. Oh, bit of a glitchy one there. Oh, even more glitchy there. But yeah, that one I saw. No, I'd seen it. I'd seen it before actually. That was the second time I saw that. That is one that I'm going to do. It became 47531. It was the first of the 479s that got withdrawn by what later became Central Services. And 90020. This is the only one that carried the eagle logo like that. The Rough Distribution style ones, which were the diamond, had the eagle in it, but the res type one on a it would just be like a line with the jumping cat, which was on the diesel locos, because they were basic crew diesel, and for crew electric it had the eagle. 31438 with reinforced window there. That's something that Hornby should bring out. Class 60 with its red door. There's the naming going on from some other angle. And of course, you can hardly ever take a photo at an open day without someone walking in front of you. So that was that. But, like I say, pictures like this are really useful. You can see what little details are about, what the track work looks like. What's this red thing over there? And that's what it looks like today. Although it actually looks different because there's a big shed there now. But there's the fuel tanks, similar to the ones that they have at Toten. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there was a couple of lines here that were electric. Again, there's I think that's a fueler. I do expect Bachmann to come out with some more class 90s, another 1 or 2 90s in different colour schemes. So maybe mainline livery, maybe the new Relfreight European version, Rough Distribution, the European version, like they did 47365 a couple of years back. So yeah, the people at Toten were really, really sharp. I used to try and sneak in occasionally, but nah, you couldn't get past the career room area. Yeah, because I used to, I don't know, let's see if it's still there. It's lost its picked in a day name there. Let's have a look. Okay, so it was this little hut there, and like the road was down there, but if you went down the road you'd be spotted. because you'd have to cross there, and if you try sneaking along there, you look like you're doing something wrong. So I try sneaking up there, but then there's someone to notice you there as well. So you can never really make it. But I tried. And I've done it at Crew Electric as well. I mean, there's obviously some kind of security barrier there now, but what I used to do, and it was sneaky, but I used to just walk in the depot, walk across there, walk in. There was a door here, which you could go down the length of it, and round about here in the middle was the manager's office, and you just go and ask if you can, have a look around. And usually they say, I'm sorry, no, you can't. And so you have to leave, and that's fair enough. But of course, by the time I'm here, I've already seen anything that's sat out here, and I've already seen half the stuff that's in the depot as well. So I get to see stuff no matter what. So that's kind of fun. And then back then there used to be loads of withdrawn locos. I could have sworn they had more than 2 lines. I could have sworn these were open as well. But they had a bunch of withdrawn locos. Let me see if I can find you Crew Electric. So that's on the opposite side. But those are all the withdrawn locos. I'd love to know what this crane is, the number of the crane, because I'd like to model one that looks like that. There's a video on YouTube that I found. And by the way, little thing to notice there are the Mini-Link containers. Mini-Link was a little thing that they toyed around with, but it never really happened in the end. So let me just swap this for a second. So they tried this. This is a 400 XXX series chassis, so it's a lot of them became RRA runners, but later on they put boxes on for Russell Freight coal trains, but they had these. The idea was you'd have these little. Effectively it was like, think of Freightliner containers, where you could rent a container and they'll move it for you and then deliver it to where you want, where you've got a terminal or whatever, not by rail, but they deliver it to the Freightliner terminal, and then there'd be a truck there and it'd stick it on that and take it to wherever you lived. Well, they wanted to do the same thing with 45-ton vehicles, I think it was, or something similar, and then carry it around with these, but it never really took off. So but of course they had a whole bunch of these containers around, and there's an example of where the set was. Now this would be approximately, because with the 101 with the red soul bar, that would put it around about 1990. 91 actually, because I'd only just moved up in 1991, and a few months later they was taking them out of service. So that's what I was talking about, the darker, I think a 90 in that livery would be expected. APT for you. So class 92s. There's another open day I went to. I've been to 2 Crew Electric ones. So you got the European 90s there, ADB 968021, which was the class 84 load bank, mobile load bank, and you can just about make out their EM2s. I'm not sure if that's EM1, it might be, I can't remember. But people queuing up to have a look in the new toy, the new Class 92s that were just coming in. Got some scouts in the front there. Oh, and they've got a coal bag. Oh, now that's funny. That's a funny one. Just sort of popped into my head thinking about coal. What did you get for Christmas? Oh, a couple of lumps of coal. Rail freight coal. I got a 58 and a 56 in coal livery. There you go, there's the scrapped or withdrawn ones. That's an 83. There's another 83 at the back there. Or is it the 82? Might be the 82. Two of them were painted. You can see how bleached they are. The reason was that they were last used on the light stock movement, the empty stock movements from London Euston to Wembley and back. And what happened was they would be put through the washer when they went to the depot for maintenance or cleaning. Interior cleaning, and they get an exterior cleaning on the way through. Well, as a result, that loco and I bet there were about 3 or 4. They went through the garage washer a lot, which is the reason why they were so pasty. Yeah, it's those ones there. Okay, so there were others there. But yeah, when these were here, I did sort of sneak round the back. I sort of came in and sort of sneaked off round the back and zigzagged through, hoping no one would see me, and got the numbers of those. Oh, interesting. Some old wagons there. That was withdrawn, sat there for a while. Then Peter Waterman saved it, and then he got rid of everything. I think he was having some money problems or something, so he kind of sold everything on, most of his diesel and electric traction, and ended up being bought by DRS in the end, because DRS started in a tough way. When the railways got privatised, they were split into different companies, and but unlike other parts which were franchised, the rail freight was split into 3 companies, 4 companies, and parcels as well. So what happened was you had mainline freight, which was blue, a Transrail, which was the two-tone grey but with Transrail locos. They had load haul, rail freight distribution, and parcels, which was Rail Express Systems. EWS, or the Ed Burkhardt at Wisconsin Central bought the 3 trainload freight companies, Load All, because they were originally called Trainload Freight West, Trainload Freight Northeast, Trainload Freight Southeast, and then became Transrail, Load Haul, and Mainline. And they bought parcels. So, and then later on they bought Rail Freight Distribution as well, because to get the access to the tunnel work. Well, unfortunately, British Nuclear Fuels, they used to have to pay EWS to transport their nuclear flasks around. And they decided that they would get into the rail freight stuff themselves, but the problem is they couldn't find any locos. EWS, or even the scrappers, even the ones that were never going to work again, they kept them because they wanted to use them, and it literally came down to going to court because it was classed as a monopoly. And so they ended up having to give up some, But in the before the court case happened, they DRS, what became DRS, they simply couldn't afford. So they couldn't find any locos unless they had new ones built. So what they ended up doing was using the only ones that were available, and that was a bunch of. Let me go there because it's easier. They bought a bunch of Class 20s. And it's others. So they bought a bunch from RFS. RFS had bought them from British Rail, from the coal sector actually. So when Class 60s came along, pairs of 20s, and usually it was at least 4 or 5 20s per 60 were withdrawn because they were 60s were far more efficient, and of course you didn't have to run them in pairs. So as the 60s came on stream, 20s became redundant, and so they went and gave them a bit of an overhaul, and they used them on Channel Tunnel construction trains, including a couple that had a massive big exhaust, which may actually be this one. They had a big exhaust system built into it, yeah. So there's one just been refurbished by, and that's Kilmarnock, where the work was done, because RFS had a Kilmarnock plant, and that was they did shunters mostly, but they did them up for Channel Tunnel work. So as a result, at the end, they ended up being dumped at outside Doncaster Works, the DRS section. The RFS section rather. And excuse me. And when that was done, they just sat around with no work to be done. And so, a couple were picked up by preservation groups. But what happened was, RFS ended up selling them to DRS, gave them an overhaul and a refurbishment, and a rebuild basically, and they turned them into what became the 23s. So those had I'm sorry, by the way, while I think about it, Bescott Open Day, they painted up a redundant 08, that's my photo, for the Open Day at Bescott in 1992. There you go, there's one that went to Europe. CFD is a French company. This was a box head code one, they removed the box. And thank you, Anita. There you go. So you can see that was one of them working on the construction trains for the Channel Tunnel. And you can see that these ones have, I think it was catalytic converters or something. But yeah, they've been modified with, so that the, I think if I remember correctly, that went to this vehicle, and that would scrub the diesel emissions coming out of them, because obviously you got guys working in the tunnel. But yeah. Now this is a great photo. That's pretty modelable, isn't it? Actually, that's a bit of inspiration. But yeah, but in the end, those 20s had a refurbishment, and they came out. So these are a couple of this is a photo of mine. And what they did was they gave them YPAC lights. They gave them new multiple working equipment. Oh, excuse me. And an extra fuel tank there. Until that time, the only company that had any extra fuel tank logos were Hunslet and Barclay for the Wee Killer trains, and there was 20084, which also had a box extra fuel tank there. It was the only one though, and it had extra vents in the middle. But yeah, so just streamlined them. Other conversions that they did later had the extra light at the top because the new standards have them. But oh, excuse me again. Milk by rail, and you can see they're on the piggyback wagons. The piggyback wagons, it's a lorry, and they reversed it in, and it has like a swing door kind of thing, so it swings open and the access goes in that way. Let's go and find a picture of 084. 2020 BR Blue. So 45, 37. Oh, there you go, 20084 with its auxiliary fuel tank and these extra ventilators in the doors. Also a bit patchy up there as well. Wonder what that was about. Ah, I think I just noticed something, but I might be wrong. Yeah. So 084 has different bogies on it. If you look, this one is just a plain I-beam part in the bottom, whereas at this end it's got holes in it. It's a curious little thing. Oh, excuse me again. Now, one of the pair that I've got, because I do all my 20s in pairs, and these are the pairs that I'm doing, or I've got mostly, and it's 78 and 163, and 78 is just a bog standard normal, just a normal 20. So yeah, so I saw it in the Northwest. Part away interests me, but it's the partner. Its partner at the back then. This is 163, and 163 is an unusual pair, an unusual partner, because it had interesting marker lights. So that was one end, fairly normal. But at the other end, it had, instead of having another box, it had the same kind of things, almost like Class 37s, you know, where they've got the sort of partially recessed marker light in a lens. I just thought that was a bit interesting, so I'm going to model that. In fact, I've already got the model to be done. I just haven't done the doing-y part yet. So oh, I'm so sorry about this yawning. Oh, I think that's block switch. Might be wrong. See, block switch is a place that could be modelled. it was one of those things that I was thinking about doing. Block switch is down. Is it that way? I can't remember where it was now. I think it's on that section. Let's just type it in. Easier. No, it's not there. It's Walsall. I'm sure it was block switch. I thought it was in this route though. It was on the line that used to join up. No, sorry, I know where it is. It's not Cannock. What's it called? Oh, maybe it was. Oh, it is block switch. Oh, I've cried out loud. I just wasn't looking at it right. Okay. So there used to be a steel plant here. If I chuck in the old time traveller thing. In fact, it was still there, look, 1945, according to this. But it had a steel terminal here, and a sort of weird passing loop. So you got two tracks like that, and then you got this one here. So you basically you'd go from this track to this track, and you could, you know, uncouple, run around the train, and then take it the opposite way. So when stuff came out, so to go in, a train would come over here and then push back, propel back, and then when leaving, it could run, you know, around the train here, and then leave. And it was like things like steel bar. Let's see if we've got any wagons. One there. Looks like it's all been taken out of service by then. Oh no. Yeah, it's looking decidedly old there. No, that track looks like it's lifted. Oh no, it's still there. Yeah. I thought those were wagons for a second. No. Track's still there, but it's obviously not been used for a while. In fact, this section, in fact, look, it's been lifted. It's all lifted there. You can see where the thing used to go around. That's all lifted there. But yeah, it's lost its all original signal box, and it's just got a couple of container type ones. Yeah, look at the difference. Yeah, it's automated container. That's the old box. Another bit of old heritage gone. But that kind of thing would get a train from Walsall, you know, from on a trip freight, because around the Birmingham area there was an awful lot of little trip freights would go on. So yeah, another place that used to have stuff was Wednesbury. That used to have a big system, but that all went away, and then they put the track in there. There you go, you can see Wednesbury Tip. Of course that's Steam era, but yes, Anita, the prize draw has been done. Sorry, I'm afraid you didn't win anything. But yeah, it happened at 9 o'clock, and we're now nearly at 11 o'clock. So I think I talked a lot a few days ago, and obviously from my yawning, I'm a little bit snoozy. Then again, I didn't really sleep very well last night, and this outfit is really making my chair squeak. So I think I'm going to call it an end for tonight. Yes, I do want to change that. So for those of you that won prizes, don't forget to send me an email to confirm, your address so I can mail it to you. And like I say, depending on what my money's like, depends on how quickly you get it. But you'll get it in within about 2.5 weeks, at the very least. So like I say, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, the chit-chattier stuff I did at the end. And thanks, like I say, thanks for joining in the competition. Congratulations to the people who won something. There'll be another one, maybe at 1,500. I haven't fully decided yet. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my wine, and I'm going to go to bed soon. I've actually got my dietitian's appointment tomorrow at 12, so I need to be going to bed earlier tonight than I normally do. So yeah. And then tomorrow afternoon, evening kind of time, I think I'll have a dig into that 73 and figure out why the lights don't work. Chances are, as I expect, I may have got the LEDs wired the wrong way round. I've got the anode and the cathode swapped around. All I need to do is just activate the lights, put an LED across the two contacts, and see if it lights up. And if it lights up, then I'm just going to have to unsolder and resolder. It shouldn't take too long. It's going to be more of a nuisance than a problem. But yeah. So okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.